anybody could have taken over from the Alams and they probably would have been viewed as popular.
I still think there is a world where Liam Rosenior is still Hull City manager.
Hello and welcome to the second episode of Exploring Football, the new series on my channel where I go across the country and across Europe telling different stories. So you can see behind me today I'm at Hull City. I was here in February for an interview with Liam Rosenior before they played West Brom in a shootout for what felt like the top six. Acun Ilicala sacked Liam Rosenior in the summer and brought in Tim Walter, the German manager from Hamburg, and it's all sort of gone wrong since then. Ilicala was a really popular man because he replaced the Alam family, ending a reign of terror effectively over the club, which took them down to League One, alienated the community. That's all gone now, but they're struggling this season, so I want to understand the mood is around the club.
I think it's been a season of transition and will continue to be a season of transition. I don't see this being a team that get in the top six.
Started off with a threadbare squad and we made signings late, so the first month of the season was always going to be difficult. It's a new set of players, it's a new manager. We had 25 out, about 17, 18 in this summer. So yeah, it's a season of transition, this one.
I've settled up in the press box now, 2 hours before kick-off against Portsmouth. Really tough game today, hugely important to win. They haven't won for a month coming into this game. The story about Hull is really interesting because, I said earlier, they were on the precipice of the playoffs. They were really pushing for that. Then they sacked Rosenior and it's unravelled since then. There's lots of issues with the playing style, which the ownership actually made the point of changing because of Rosenior disagreements. Tim Walter's come in, really struggled to make an impact. And yeah, there's a club that's sort of floundering now, and it really does feel like there's a problem in the air.
Most clubs, after finishing seventh, they add to it and they go again. What's happened at Hull City is they've ripped it up and they've gone through a rebuild. Ultimately, whether we agree or we don't, it's happened. The owner, rightly or wrongly, decided that Liam Rosenior wasn't the right manager to be in charge, and he felt that he wanted to go in a different direction. And on his head be it, he pays the bills. It's a gamble, a huge gamble.
Liam Rosenior, one, played for the football club.
Yeah.
Two, had family from round here. The owner explained why he did it a little bit more, and this is what used up a lot of goodwill that he had with some fans. He explained it as, well, the football at home was terrible, and we have been terrible at home under Rosenior and under Walter this year. We've won 3 games at home all year, and we're in November now. Still think there is a world where Liam Rosenior is still Hull City manager. It'd still be a more difficult season. Expected to go into it with one bit of stability, and that would be the manager.
Of course, it is worth remembering where Hull were. They had an ownership that really ruined the relationship with the fans. The club was on no trajectory going forward. The fan experience was really poor. Ilicala's come in and reinvigorated that, but questions are being asked.
I think there's been a sea change. I think Acun was hugely popular when he arrived. I mean, with respect to Acun, and this is meant in no disrespect to anybody, that anybody could have taken over from the Alams and they probably would have been viewed as popular.
Alams bought the club for £1, saved the football club, kept the lights on here, and gave me and all these people, walking through past me now, still had a team to get behind. But as soon as Asim Alam couldn't get his name changed through, it all fell apart.
It really does feel like a huge game for Hull already today, and that dream of top 6 progression and going forward and getting Hull promoted really does seem to be slipping away from the new Turkish ownership.
If Tim Walter starts to get some results, the noise quietens down, the fans' frustration quietens down, but at the minute, 3 wins in 12, he's not getting the results. And fans who were really looking forward to seeing an attacking brand of football, that they were sold, lots of goals, this, that and the other, they're not really seeing it. Some of the games under Tim Walter have been dire in terms of appointing Tim Walter, and as I say, the jury on that one is firmly out until he starts winning some football matches.
They're currently 15th in the league, 5 points off the playoffs, but 2 points above the relegation zone as well. And it's a real crossroads moment to really decide what the future of this, or the immediate future of this team is. Full time here at the MKM Stadium, Hull City had been held by Portsmouth, and it was a really, really disappointing game. You can understand all the frustrations and why Hull are in this situation. 14 goals this season, 2 more than Portsmouth, who, as I say, bottom of the league and have only won 1 game. That second half was really, really poor. Lots of booing from the crowd. Tim Volter and his style of play, not a big talking point this season. Obviously, it was last season with Liam Rosenior as well, but there are wider issues here. 3 wins at home all of 2024. They're in November. That is just not acceptable. This is a team that have big plans to get into the Premier League. I was at the club in February talking about their ideology and trying to get into the Premier League, and now look where they are. They're languishing and look closer, like more like a relegation battling side than a team capable of getting into that top 6 and pushing towards the top of the table. And that's really, really sad when you think about where Hull were last season and where the whole project was going. Ilachala and the way he galvanised the club. We obviously have to mitigate for the fact that they've loaned in a lot of players. Liam Delap and Fabio Carvalho have both left, and that's a huge void to fill, which they haven't managed to do. And then Jayden Philogene going to Villa as well. They've lost a lot of their quality players. Then, you know, Jacob Greaves going to Ipswich as well. A huge amount of turnover, but it feels like a club now in a huge malaise, and that's just such a shame because they were building something last season. The club got its identity back, it got its feeling back, it got its connection back last season when they were on that road. And as was mentioned earlier again, you know, the connection that the fans had with Liam Rosenior, they don't have with Tim Volter, and it was a huge unnecessary own goal, in my opinion, to sack him. Everything was just on show in that second half. The booing of playing out from the back, the slow build up, the lack of penetration, the lack of quality chances created. This is a team that are on hiding to nowhere at the moment, and it's such a shame because they built something last season. The ownership have got questions to answer. If they don't change it soon, then it could, as I say, be a really, really difficult season for a club that would have been looking to try and challenge at the very top this season. Admittedly, as I say, it was difficult to replace the players that they've missed, but they just don't look anywhere near the same team. As Joe mentioned earlier, if you were going to lose Carvalho and Delap and all of those players, the constant of having Liam Rosenior, who by the way is doing a really, really good job at Strasbourg as well, that would have been really helpful. His ideology, his connection with the club, just felt like he was the reason why they were on the upward trajectory rather than anything else, and ultimately that's what's cost them coming into this season, missing him. Bolter's really struggling to find any sort of cohesion and consistency in the team and the quality that they're really, really lacking, and it has really, really shown here. Thanks so much for joining me on this video. Like, share and subscribe for the next Exploring Football video, which will be next Saturday. Different club, different story, different vibes across English and European football coming all season. Like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.